Hello, this is Kevin Moore, founder of Epiphanie AI Math Tutoring, and I'm here today to show you how to do calculus problems in Epiphanie. So let me start off by sharing my screen. And you'll see here the Epiphanie site. I'm already logged in, and I've created an assignment for calculus problems. Let's go ahead and start with a problem. And I'm going to start with integrals since it's November when I'm recording this, November 2022. And many of my students are about to start working on integrals. So let's start off with that. I'm going to enter a new problem, an integral, integral number one. Now, the first thing is you can't just enter an integral here and then simplify it as an expression. Our system needs you to use equations, so we're just going to say y equals, and then we'll enter the integral after that. And you can use the GUI to enter this. You can also use a keyboard shortcut, but I'll show you that in a minute. The calculus equations, and here we have the integral symbol. And now I'm going to type in x squared dx. Let's begin. And I can type y equals 1/3 x cubed, and we're done. And my high school math teacher would be ashamed of me because there's no plus c on this. We don't currently support adding the plus c. Our system looks at that as a separate variable and says, hey, where'd this c come from? We're working on that. I hope to have something there soon for advice or confirmation. In the meantime, you can check that it's correct without the plus c. And then if you really want to, you can add the plus c like this. However, the system is going to say something's not right. It doesn't recognize that there's a difference of c. So you can just click continue anyway. If you want to really add this, I think this step is correct, and continue, and then say that you're done. And we'll also, we're working on getting rid of that error. If you've clicked on, I think this is correct anyway, removing that error when you click done or click the next step at that point. Right now, it still lists that as a mistake. Okay, so let's try a different one. Let's try another problem. And this time we'll do an integral y equals, and the shortcut for integral is \int, then hit a space and it shows up, integral of x squared. And we'll just leave it at that without the dx. And you'll notice that this actually does work just fine. However, it doesn't always work if you leave the dx off. So I strongly recommend that you put dx at the end of your integrals. Otherwise, weird behavior may ensue. And I'm going to show an example of that right now. Here's a problem that will not work if you don't put the dx on it. Here's a new problem. And this time I'm going to say y equals, I'm going to use a definite integral. You can also enter this just like the other integral, but with an underscore and a caret to put the subscript and superscript of the limits of the integral in here. I'm going to say integral of 3x squared dx. And let's see what we get. No, actually, I want to leave off the dx. I want to show that does not work. So here we are, and I'm going to put this in, y equals. Now, there's another thing I want to point out here, a limitation of our system. Right now, you can't put in x cubed, and there's no mechanism for putting in that we want to evaluate this from 5 to 4. So you just have to do that step by hand or skip that step and say, hey, it's going to be x cubed. I want 5 cubed minus 4 cubed. And this is going to not work. And the reason is my system, because the dx wasn't there, it got confused about what the boundaries were between the integral and the limits and the function. It thinks that you're integrating x squared from 53 to 4. So if I put in y equals 1/3 of 53 cubed minus 4 cubed, this will give me the right answer. You'll notice down here we have some of the debug features turned on. I'm going to turn that off right now because we don't need to be looking at that while we're going through this video, not until later maybe. But it's something that anyone can turn on if you want to share information with us about a problem that comes up, and we might ask you to turn it on while we're working through something if that happens. And I'll click on next step here, and that is actually what it did. It did it this way instead of what we thought it was going to do. So long story short, include the dx on integrals, and also you need to include parentheses on many functions. I recommend including them with integrals as well, just to be safe. If you put log of 10, just by itself, that'll work fine. If you include it with other math, that could cause problems. You need to put the 10 in parentheses. Same thing with sine and cosine, other trigonometric functions, other functions. You need to add parentheses around the object of that function so that it will work properly. Okay, let's try a new problem. Let's move on to derivatives. And let's try a basic derivative. Here we have a derivative that we're going to try out. Now, just like with integrals, you have to say y equals the derivative of something. Our system does not yet support solving for a derivative. So for example, if we put in y equals 2x to the fourth, and then tried to say dy dx equals 8x cubed, we can't solve for that dy dx portion of it. And we also can't list y prime as a variable either. We're working on those things. They were probably a little further out to have that support. So for now, to do it in a derivative, just say y equals the derivative of the function that you want to solve and that you want to take the derivative of, and then take your derivative. And voila, you're done. Now, that's not so hard. There really isn't much need for our system for something like that. However, we could have a harder problem. And here's where it will be more useful to have Epiphanie help them with things. Here's a product rule problem. It involves 3 different functions. You'll notice I put multiplication signs between the different functions. It's completely valid to say that the function is x to the 5th, e to the x sine x. Omitting these multiplication symbols will often work, but I recommend putting them in between different functions because sometimes my system gets confused and doesn't realize it can simplify something. So if you run into an issue, add parentheses, put in the dx, add a multiplication symbol between different functions. Those are ways of avoiding headaches and confusing behavior. So let's start this. And I'm going to start off, okay, this is going to be x to the 5th times the derivative of e to the x times sine of x plus 5x to the 4th times e to the x times sine of x. Okay, next step, let's make sure I did that right. Good, that part's right. Now, this is pretty long, so I'm just going to copy this with this button here. I'll paste it in that window with that button over there. And now I'm going to replace this derivative. So I'm just going to delete that. And I'll put this in parentheses. Okay, the derivative of e to the x is e to the x. And the derivative of sine x is cosine of x. So I can do this, right? Well, no, I had to use the product rule again, and I forgot. And my system will come back and say that something's not quite right. I don't have advice for calculus yet, but it will catch when you make a mistake in a step. And you'll know where to look back and try to figure out what went wrong. We are working on calculus advice. That'll be coming sometime soon. So instead of this, it's going to be, okay, e to the x times derivative of sine x plus the derivative of e to the x is still just e to the x times no derivative of sine x. And this should give me the right answer. And there we go. And I could continue with this and factor out an e to the x and an x to the 4th, but I'm not worried about that. Usually with chain rule problems, they don't want you to factor it out anyway. So let's finish that one up. And let's do one more advanced problem. This one involving the chain rule. Let's call this derivative number 3. And what's our equation we're going to use here? Let's use this thing. So here we have a rather nasty chain rule problem. This has happened more often than okay. That error should be fixed by Saturday. It's still there now, though. If you don't put the y equals in, sometimes you'll get that error that says bad gateway. We should be capturing that. Hey, there's all kinds of math you can enter that we can't handle, but we should always give you a message about what happened, and it should be a positive message that helps you fix what happened. If you ever get the system that comes back without a message or with a bad gateway or some other website error like that, please let us know. We have the site feedback and help links on the right side that you can report issues. we're working on making sure that all of those are captured cleanly, so that if incorrect input is entered, that it does do the right thing. So I've added the y equals. Oh, it's not going to let me do this just yet, is it? I'm going to go back to this assignment, and I'm going to add a new problem here. Derivative number 3. Let's paste that and begin. Okay, take 2. Now, I'm going to say that y equals, well, it's going to be 5 times this thing in here, and I can copy this portion. If I let go, it's not going to let me copy it. Oh, yes, it did. What do you know? I am pleasantly surprised. It allowed me to copy that, even without it being still highlighted. So 5 times that to the 4th times the derivative of that thing. I can copy the portion of it, paste it in here, and hopefully I did that right. Let's see if I did that right. I did that right. Okay, now I'm going to copy this and paste it. And I'm going to replace this with the derivative of this thing. What do we have here? Well, this is times 4 times 3x minus 1 to the 3rd power minus 3x squared. Something's wrong there. Let's see if I can figure out what I did. Oh, well, for one, I didn't use the chain rule on this thing. So let's use the chain rule on this. I'm going to copy that and paste it. I need to take the derivative of 3x minus 1, put this, times 3. Let's see if that does it. I haven't had problems so far with numbers being multiplied without a multiplication symbol, but you'll notice that all those numbers, I'm not worrying about a multiplication symbol for those. Oh, yes, I see what I did. I omitted the parenthesis around this whole thing, which is what I needed to multiply this thing by. Let's take a next step. And now I have the correct derivative. And I could go on and simplify this a little bit. Again, usually they don't want you to simplify these chain rule problems very much. But you could put the 3 and the 4 together and make that 12x times 3x minus 1 cubed minus 3x squared. And I'll mark this as done. And you'll notice when it's done, it shows all the steps where I had mistakes. You know, our intent is for you to turn this in to your teacher with the mistakes there. Let them see what you did wrong. And let them see that it's not the computer that's doing this. It's actually, hey, these are the steps I took. These were my mistakes. This is where your teacher can help understand what's going on and maybe give you some extra work to help fix issues that you're running into. Okay, so let's do another problem. Let's move on to limits. So let's start a limit problem, limit number 1. And I'm going to enter y equals, as I always do. And oh, I go to my functions and limit is not here. I'm expecting to have this by the end of the month, but it's not currently in the system. So you have to enter this manually using latex commands. I'm going to show you how to do that. It's not particularly easy, but it's also not too hard. You can do it. Limit is entered with \lim. There we've got our limit. Now we want the x approaches part. I'm going to hit a subscript, and I'm going to say x. Now, if I hit the approaches part, it's going to pop out of the subscript. So I'm going to put what it approaches next. I'm going to have x approaching 1, and then I'm going to hit the left arrow, go back here, and type \to, and it gives me the x approaches 1. If I put it right here, it would pop out of the subscript, which is something we did for ease of use, but it doesn't make this particularly easy. It makes it easy for a lot of other situations, but not for this one. So we have limit as x approaches 1, and make sure you use parentheses here. I'm going to add a fraction, x squared minus 1 over x minus 1. Let's start this problem. Now that I've got it entered once, I can just copy and paste it. And I'm going to say this is the factor at the top here, x plus 1, x minus 1. Next step, copy and paste. This is just x plus 1. Next up, and now I can plug in and simply say that y equals 2. and we're done. So I hope this was helpful, helps you understand how you can use the Epiphany site for working on various types of calculus problems. A few things I wanted to point out as issues. We talked about some of them. Use the multiplication symbols between function portions. It's a good way of making sure things are right. Be generous in using parentheses, especially with functions. You got to have them after things like log and sine and cosine. We don't currently support y prime as a variable or taking the derivative of both sides of a function. We don't support implicit differentiation or related rates problems. They're not supported yet. I wanted to show a specific thing around what happens when you don't have that dot. Let me show this. So implied mult issue. And here I'm going to say y equals x derivative of x square root of, I'm going to put times in there, times square root of x. This will allow me to start working and not working. If I omit it, it just won't work. So I'm going to take this, copy and paste it. Actually, I didn't need to do that. First piece is derivative of x times square root of x is square root of x. That's easy. Plus x times 1/2 times x to the negative 1/2. That's correct, right? Let's hit next step, and doesn't recognize it. If I were to look under the hood on the debug messages, it's actually doing the right thing. And it is calculating the right answer. It just doesn't recognize here that this whole thing is, these two things are equal to each other. And that's something we got to work on. We're trying to fix it. All you have to do to make this work in this case is just put a time symbol in between, and this will work properly. So let's do next step here. And I could then simplify this some more if I wanted to, or make the radicals, in the numerator or whatever I wanted to do. But we are done at this point. Okay, thank you for trying out epiphany.com and using it for your calculus problems. Please don't hesitate to contact us with these help or site feedback links if you run into any issues or have any questions. Have a great day.